Hi there, and welcome to a Let's Type episode from the Commodore 64 Appreciation Society. This is a series where I type out a program from a computer magazine, this time a new one, and then when I finish typing it in, I play it. It's a great time to be into the Commodore 64. Emulators and the Internet Archive make our favorite old programs and magazines instantly available. The Commodore 64 Ultimate has put original hardware, better than ever, back into our hands, and magazines like Gazette have even fired up the presses again, putting out brand new content. And that new content includes type-ins. Each issue includes multiple programs for a variety of systems. Some of these, like Codebreaker, which we covered in an earlier episode, have been around since the 80s. But more and more, the programs we're seeing are brand new, including Blockout, the one we're covering today. Blockout is a Dominoes game written by Don Bangert, who some of you might remember from my Switchbox Revisited episode. The idea is simple: match pairs of numbers to remove them from the board with the goal of clearing everything. I love games like this, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out. Let's get typing. That's not right. Well, we're off to an inauspicious start. The new Gazette includes a brand new proofreading program to help with typing in programs. Actually, the third version of their famous automatic proofreader. I typed it in earlier and got it working without a problem. But now I've got a problem. The checksums in the magazine aren't matching the ones I'm seeing on screen. The first two lines are wrong, and when I spot check a few others, I get the same result. Not good. But thankfully, the folks at Compute came to the rescue really quickly. It turns out their script for generating checksums expects lowercase characters, but the code they passed in was all uppercase. Yeah, that'll do it. They sent me a text file with the correct uppercase checksums, and once I switched to those, everything lined up. Honestly, it's an easy mistake to make. We're all relearning this stuff after being away from these machines for a few decades. But the important thing is that Compute responded fast. In the old days, corrections for magazine errors would take months to show up in print. This one took 15 minutes. As far as games go, you can't get much more classic than Dominoes. They've been played for over 800 years, and there are more than 100 official variations built around those familiar tiles. And personally, I've always been a fan. The rules are usually simple to learn, but the variety of tiles creates an almost endless number of possibilities. And maybe the best thing, if you don't actually feel like playing a game, just line them up and watch them fall. In Blockout, the goal is to clear as many tiles as possible by matching the numbers. There are 28 tiles in total, laid out end to end in a long horizontal row. You scroll through them looking for pairs to remove, and each match earns you a point. It's not all random luck though. You can flip tiles to help create a match, but doing that costs you a point, so you have to use it carefully. What a cool twist. I'm sure some of you have noticed that I'm not using an emulator to type in the program this time. Nope, I've gone completely old school. I've got the magazine laid out in front of me and I'm typing it directly on the Commodore 64 Ultimate. And as a cool little side note, the Ultimate has built-in streaming capability. That means I'm actually recording the video directly on my Mac over Wi-Fi. 16-year-old me's mind would have been blown. Hell, current me's mind is blown. And I've got to say, I'm really enjoying typing on the original keyboard. It's taken me a little while to get used to the old layout again. Characters like quotation marks, asterisks, and colons aren't where they are on modern keyboards. But at the same time, I can feel that old muscle memory kicking in. The longer I go, the more natural it feels. And honestly, it just feels great. The sound and feel of those chunky keys brings back all the vibes. And when I save or load a program, the Ultimate even plays the sounds of a 1541 disk drive. As it has always done, Gazette does a great job explaining how the program works. The article walks through the poke statements, the pesky graphics, string manipulation, data storage, and more. But personally, the part I found most interesting is how the game determines matches and how it removes dominoes from the board. In fact, I think this section is so cool that it deserves a code spotlight. The primary element of blockout is the row of dominoes. The game begins with 28 pieces, assigns them to an array, shuffles them, and randomizes their flip positions. And then, that internal model is never used again. From that point forward, the entire game is driven by string manipulation. The dominoes you see on screen are stored in 3 strings. One contains the top border, one contains the middle row with the domino numbers, and the third contains the bottom border. When the player scrolls left or right, the program simply displays a 23-character window into those strings. And when it's time to check whether 2 dominoes match, the program doesn't look up values in the array. Instead, it literally reads the characters as they are displayed on screen. For example, here in line 710, those 2 mid-string calls grab the numbers in the display window and compare them. If they are the same, there's a match. It also looks for pairs in the same way. Line 750 and 760 check the values, and if both dominoes are doubles, the game declares a pair. I love this. It's a completely novel way of evaluating game state, and it works perfectly. And removing the dominoes is even cooler. When a valid move is played, the program doesn't delete pieces from a board structure because it isn't really keeping track of them internally anymore. Instead, it cuts them out of the string and then stitches the rest back together. It starts the process by creating 2 pieces. FR string contains all the dominoes before the matching pair, and BA string contains everything after it. The program then generates a connector piece depending on where the removal happens. For example, the left edge of the board looks different than the middle and needs a different connector. Finally, it stitches the pieces back together, creating an entirely new string of dominoes. The match tiles are simply gone. It's basically surgical removal of the matching pair, done entirely through string manipulation, and it's extremely clever. Cool, right? In all, it's been a pretty entertaining program to type in. Don Bangert included lots of REM statements throughout the code explaining what was going on, and Compute's article filled in all the holes. Programs like this are great to type in because it kind of feels like you can see the program working in your head, or something like that. Anyway, this is the end of the code. These last few data statements contain the values for the 28 dominoes, and then we're done. After saving, we can see that it takes up 26 blocks on disk, which is about 6.5K. Not bad for just over an hour of typing. And considering it's a brand new program that passed the automatic proofreader, I'm guessing everything will just work. And yeah, nice. I always love when the title screen shows up the first time I run it. Oh, what a fun sound. I feel like I can actually see the dominoes being shuffled. Okay, here we go. We can see the game board here. The black characters show the 2 dominoes that are currently selected, and I can scroll the board using the J and L keys. I don't have any points yet, so I can't flip any of the pieces, so I need to keep searching for a match. I like the sound that plays as it scrolls. Alright, we have a match, and I guess it makes sense to take it, which I can do by pressing the P key. Cool, my first point. And I've set a new high score, ladies and gentlemen. There are plenty of opportunities for other matches, but I don't want to spend that point yet. Let's try to find some others first. Cool, there's a pair, but it might make sense to save them for later. And besides, I see another match just down the row. 2 points, I like it. That's the end of the dominoes, and there's a pair there too. I don't know why, but I feel like I shouldn't just get rid of pairs willy-nilly. That's probably the wrong strategy, but come on, it's my first game. Oh, why not? I'll take the pair. I've got 3 points now, so I feel okay about flipping tiles. As an aside, it's cool to see what's going on based on what we discussed in the Code Spotlight earlier. And here's a great place for a flip. Pressing F will flip the left-hand domino, which gives me a match. That keeps me at 3 points. So I guess as long as you have at least 1 point, it always makes sense to flip if you can get an easy match. And here's another perfect candidate for a flip. I'll press F to change the left-hand domino and match. Nice. I can make a match here by flipping 2 tiles, but I'll wait until I'm sure I need to. Okay, here's another flip, and 2 more off the board. And here's another, and that opens up another match. Nice. I feel like I'm having a good game here. I guess it makes sense to remove that pair now. No need to hold on to them. Well, I have 5 points, and I think it makes sense to make 2 flips now. Uh-oh. I think this end of the board is unsolvable. That's okay, though. We're getting down to the end here. I can make a flip and get this match, and that'll about do it. I'm down to 2 tiles. Not bad for my first game. Oh, oops. I pressed Q to end the game instead of V, and it just kicked me out. I guess I won't get my final score, but still, 2 tiles. Good job, me. This is a really interesting game. Because of the randomness, I feel like most of the boards are ultimately unsolvable, but the flip mechanic really adds a strategic layer, and with a bit of practice, I think you'd start to get good at knowing where to make the best ones. I also love how you have to spend points to use a flip. It makes the moves thoughtful and makes that high score even more meaningful. Not bad for my second game as well, and now we can actually see how the scoring works. The bonus score is where the real points are made. You start off with 280 and lose 10 points for each domino you have left, and then whatever gameplay points you have get added. And the instructions say that you get 500 for a perfect game. I don't think I need to worry about that right now. I like the system. Obviously, getting matches accounts for the bulk of your scoring, but carefully managing your flips is the road to a high score. I've played about a dozen games now. Right now, I'm just trying to beat that score for my second game and haven't even come close. But it's fun and really addicting. It actually has solid mobile app vibes. I could see casually picking this up and playing it anytime. Congrats to Don Bangert on creating a truly fun game, and great job by Compute's Gazette for publishing it. As far as type-ins go, this one's almost perfect. Fun to type in, and even more fun to play. Hey everyone, Brian here from the Commodore 64 Appreciation Society. I get a lot of requests to share the files that I've typed in. Most of them show up at GamingAlexandria.com, a great site that's dedicated to the preservation of video game history. If you're into retro gaming, definitely check them out. But not everything gets posted there. Blockout, for example, is a brand new game, so it doesn't make sense on their site. And even when a type-in is perfect for Gaming Alexandria, it can sometimes take a little while to get posted. So we've started a Discord. You can go there to download the type-ins, chat about them, and even share any mods that you've made. We've literally just started it, so it's not fully fleshed out yet, but you can go there today to download Blockout. I've put an invitation link in the video description. Hope to see you there. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like or subscribing. And if you have any thoughts about Blockout, Computes Gazette, or type-ins in general, I'd love to hear them. Drop them in the comments. Hope to see you again.